up, guys? I am back to bring you a recap on the 2018 Soul Train Music Awards. This is going to be a very quick recap because I watched it and so should you have been watching it on last night, my God. So I have a few highlights that I want to mention and talk about. And before I even get into the 2018 Soul Train Music Awards, I want to address the red carpet pre-show that was hosted by Laz Alonso and one of my vocal faves, and she is so underrated as a vocalist, Amber Riley. We all know her from Glee. She was on a lot of other shows, and she also played Effie White in the London version of Dreamgirls. My God, she was the lead in that. So I love her. It was great to see her in action on BET, hosting the red carpet. I will say she disappointed me with her look, my God, because she was stuffed in that dress like a turkey, and I love her. And it's not even about her being a thick woman because she has had some great fashion moments, but that whole black dress with all the ruffles was just off to me, and the hair was off, but I still support her, still love her, was glad to see her there. Now, there is nothing that I can say negative about sexy ass Laz Alonso. He is so handsome. I can't even remember what he had on, my God, because I'm always focused on how handsome that man is. But to address the award show itself, it was hosted, my God, by Tichina Arnold and Tisha Campbell. I will say overall, the show was, I think, the best it has been in a very long time. It wasn't over the top, but it was a very well thought out, planned and paced show. It really wasn't too many boring moments. And granted, the comedy sometimes was very dry, but I feel like they did a great job this particular year. Now, my opinion on Tichina Arnold and Tisha Campbell. Fashion moments. Their fashions were horrible, and it disappoints me because I feel like women have it so easy. Like, how difficult is it to pick a few sickening gowns to show up and host an award show? Now, as I've already said, their comedy and jokes were pretty dry. Sometimes you had a chuckle, and sometimes you didn't. You just gave a side eye, my God. But overall, I think they did a great job. I will say that Tichina Arnold probably looked a tad bit better than Tisha Campbell because I was just not feeling this whole side shave, and then it wasn't faded and blended out, and then she had one side shave, my God, and that whole shave your head off thing is done and over with. Cassie was one of the first few people to do it, or at least to bring it back as a trend, my God, and that's been over. So for Tisha to wait until 2018 to shave the side of her head off, my God, that is just late.com. But I will say, overall, they were pretty good hosts because I believe we're used to Erykah Badu hosting, but she was being honored this year, my God. Now, I love that the opening was with Tichina and Tisha, and they did like a 90s throwback R&B skit with them giving us choreography and a tad bit of their vocals. I prefer Tichina Arnold's vocals over Tisha's, but when they sing together, they usually are pretty much on the mark in a sense, my God. But the songs that stood out to me were TLC, What About Your Friends? Then they did 702, Where My Girls At, and that beat just goes so hard, especially Mila's lead vocals on that. And of course, I have to acknowledge that they did a song by my idol, my fave, Brandy, Best Friends. We all know and love that song. So the opening was cute. Like I said, it was dry humor, but it did the job. So props to them for being able to pull off a great hosting situation, especially since they were filling in for Erykah Badu, my God. Now, the actual opening act, I believe, was BBD, but it was weird because Tichina and Tisha gave a performance, so I kind of feel like they were the opening act. But the first official opening act was BBD, and they were okay. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, they killed it, but they did their job. They're legends. They have hit songs, and so they satisfied, our moms and our dads. My God, no shade. They were cool. Now, I will say I was so in agreement with the Sexiest Man Alive award entitled going to Idris Elba. That man is sexy and chocolate, and then you add his London accent on top of that, or his British accent, although they don't call it an accent because their language is actually the English language, so we have the accent, but you add the way that he speaks on top of his sexiness, my God. And don't forget he has a big dick, because did y'all see him in that movie with, it was a movie with him and Chris Brown. I don't remember what it was called, but y'all saw they did a little span of his crotch area, and it was huge. So he definitely deserves to be the sexiest man alive. But after that moment, I do know that Lettucey was awarded, and she was acknowledged, and I was more so surprised to find out that Lettucey is actually married, and I'm not sure that the public officially knew, because she ended up kissing a man on the lips, and then of course she got on stage and said, I have a husband now. So congratulations to Lettucey on her vows and her nuptials. I'm assuming it's fairly new, because we've never ever heard her mention a husband, my God, or at least show up to an award show with a husband. So congrats to her on her award, as well as being a newlywed, I believe. Also, it was great to see BBD open up, especially since we are currently recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Shamari DeVoe and Ronnie DeVoe, who Ronnie, of course, is from New Edition, as well as BBD. It was great to see them and then see Shamari there. Although Shamari's outfit was lacking. She was given little ghetto girl. She wasn't given like Real Housewives tees in her garment. So I wish she would have came to slay, because she's a beautiful girl. But it was great to see them there, especially since we're currently reviewing them and seeing them on The Housewives. Next, we had some performances. We had a performance from Jacquet, which I didn't know who he was until I actually heard his song, my God, and he actually sounded really good. His background singers actually killed even better than he did. Then we had John B's Sexy Ass, which is definitely a throwback to the 90s. He sounded phenomenally. He could not hit his notes from back in the day, but his bottom register was solid and sounded beautifully. And I will say, he sounded great, but looked even better, my God. That man is a sexy, smooth, and suave white man. Then there was Donell Jones. Now, Donell Jones, his whole fashion moment threw me off. I don't know who told him to wear that ruffled tuxedo satin shirt, my God, with a velvet biker jacket with studs on it, and then he had on some fitted jeans or tuxedo pants with a rocker biker like chain on the side, my God. I'm not sure who his fashion stylist was, but they need to be fired. And if it was him, he needs to be fired and find somebody to dress him for his next event, my God. But I cannot stand his nasal singing. Of course, he has hits that we love from back in the day, but I can't deal with these nasally singers, my God. Sing from your diaphragm and not from your nose, my God. Then there was the Soul Cipher, my God. Now, this is one thing I've always loved once they begin to implement this into the show. The Soul Cipher is always my favorite, because it is great to hear and see our favorite vocalist freestyle and slay and show their vocal ability, my God. First, there was BJ, the Chicago Kid. I love him because he has a great voice, and he looks nothing like what his voice sounds like. Next, there was Queen Naja. Now, you guys know I originally did not know who Queen Naja was until I did the Harmony Challenge with my cousin, Samira, and then she was like, you don't know about Queen Naja? And y'all were commenting saying, Queen Naja is your YouTube sister in the spirit, my God. She is your colleague from YouTube, and she pretty much went through something similar with her ex like you did with yours, and then how her ex was acting like she was the one who cheated and was the problem, and really he was the problem, my God. And now she's in a happy relationship and she's pregnant. So it was so great to see her on the Soul Cipher. She sounded great. I want her though to gain more confidence from the standpoint of knowing that she belongs where she is and she deserves to be there like anyone else, my God, because she wasn't really owning the moment amongst the other people who were there, but she did sound and look beautifully. I mean, even some of her runs and riffs and her vocals, like, she is a talented, beautiful woman, and I'm glad to see her getting some shine. And it also gives us, the YouTube community and other content creators, it just shows us that if we stick to what we know, be consistent at what we do here on YouTube, you never know that the sky could be the limit, and the sky may not even be the limit. It may be beyond that, my God. So she is definitely, I think, one of our YouTube idols that we look up to, because her dreams are coming true, and it shows that it possibly could happen for us if we just stay the course. Then there was my baby daddy. If you didn't know it, Luke James has been my baby daddy since back from when he opened up for, was it Beyonce or Destiny's Child? I think he opened up for Beyonce around the era of Girls Who Run the World, because he was her opening act. And even before then, I was on his trail, because you showed me a chocolate sexy man with a nice body, my God, I'm gonna always be paying attention. So you know he sings his ass off. So he definitely sounded great. He gave this phenomenal intro, my God, to Kelly Price, because he said something about the queen and then you gotta pay the price, my God, and then Kelly came through, my God, like a mighty rushing wind, and she tore the house down. Even Brobe said we stopped liking her when she was on Army Divas and acting a fool, and now she has reclaimed her throne. Those vocals slayed. She sounded amazingly, my God, I loved it. So Soul Cipher was everything to me, my most favorite part. And speaking of favorites, I don't think anybody really came to slay with their fashions, but Normani, baby Normani, was sexy as hell. She gave me everything. Her beautiful chocolate skin, her little black dress, that number that she had on. Normani, for me, is probably the best dressed of the Soul Train Music Awards 2018. Next, the Legend Award that was given to Erykah Badu, which was so well deserved. I felt like they gave her a 30-minute plus set, and she used that time to perform like no other. She shut the show down. I could have accepted her just performing the entire time only. She is a phenomenal performer. I have never seen her perform live, but I love what she gives. It was great to even see her just embrace all kinds of people. I'm not sure if you caught it. She had a male background singer in a dress, and next to him was Duran Bernard, whom we love from Instagram and then YouTube as well, because he's a great vocalist and he's been her background singer for a very long time now, my God. But she was great. I loved her performance. She was definitely deserving of receiving the award that she received, my God. I definitely want to see her in concert like ASAP. Next, there was the gospel segment with a performance from Corinne Hawthorne, whom I'm not sure if you guys remember her. She actually started out from, I think, The Voice. Then she ended up on the Mary Mary show, but she has a song called Won't He Do It. It's a very hot, fun, hip-hoppy gospel song. She looked beautiful from the neck up. Hair was perfect, face was beat for the gods, but that whole pink army fatigue and black PU fake faux leather bodysuit was off. I mean, she should have come a lot better fashion-wise, but her performance was great. She sounded pretty good. Her voice doesn't do much for me, but she is a great performer. But I want her to get a better fashion stylist, because for her to have that sickening beat face and that beautiful hairstyle and to give us some pink army fatigues to perform in, no ma'am. Next, 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 next. Last but not least, the Lady of Soul Award went to Faith Evans, and she was introduced by her husband, Stevie J. I am loving them together now because they truly look like they're very happy. And I think because they've known each other for so long, and even Faith said they were platonic friends for over 20 years, I think that's when some of the best relationships actually happen, because of the time frame of friendship to where you actually know the good, bads, and in and outs of this person prior to even becoming romantic with them, my God. But it was so great to see her performance, to see her get recognized. It was sad to hear that she is aware that she is not one of the highest selling artists and doesn't receive awards that often, so she doesn't know what to say to receive her award. That was sad to hear, but that vocal performance she gave, she deserved every bit of that award. I mean, I'm usually not impressed with Faith's vocal performances on award shows. I know she can sing her ass off, but she always disappoints me vocally on award shows, especially when she's honoring someone else, my God. But baby, when it came down to sing her own songs on this show, she sounded phenomenally. She was giving us Twinkie Clark mixed with some Karen Clark all day long, my God. So it's no surprise that the Clark sisters love her and they are her idols, my God. But she was awesome. Like, Faith looked and sounded great. Now, I will say she was a tad bit sweaty. So was a couple other people. So I'm not sure if the Soul Train Awards, their budget was cut about, you know, having the air on, because I was concerned about why people had their faces beat and then they were a little dewy because of the perspiration and sweating in that place, my God. But outside of that, it was great to see Faith be celebrated, and for her to speak so well, be articulate, be humble, be humble, my God. And yeah, it was a great show overall. I will say I was satisfied. It was something that was worth watching, and they did their thing. And again, Tichina, Arnold, and Tisha Campbell did a pretty good job. I was not disappointed with them hosting, but again, I was extremely disappointed with their fashions because they had on some stupid stuff. I mean, just the dumbest. I mean, the shoulders was off, and then you had, I'm not even going to go into it, my God. They looked a mess for the most part, but their face, the face was right. Tichina was actually more right on hair than Tisha was. But that's about it, guys. If you haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's a show definitely worth watching because I think vocally, this is probably one of their first shows with consistent good vocals across the board. There were no true horrible vocal moments, my God. But that's about it, guys. Please follow me on all social media outlets. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, share this video, and thank you guys for tuning in. Bye, guys.